Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to tell you straight, there has been a second assassination attempt against Donald Trump. I am sure that unless you live under a rock, you have heard about it by now. This time, they do have a suspect in custody, so the information here is moving fast. So I am going to tell you everything that we know as of 9 p.m. on Monday night. First and foremost, when this was first reported, the New York Post was right out of the gate saying that while Trump was golfing on Sunday, a man with an AK-47 was spotted a few holes ahead of him and fired at the president. CNN instead said shots were heard in the vicinity of the president from outside the golf course, implying that it was just a matter of someone shooting a gun in no connection to Trump in pure coincidence. Now we know that that is not the case, that there was an assassination attempt, but that the man did not actually get off any shots at Trump. CNN changed their tune on things pretty quickly when the FBI announced an investigation and an arrest, though they are still calling it an apparent attempt. Now, before we jump right into the rest of the details of what we know so far, this video is brought to you with the help of Blackout Coffee Company, your pro-Second Amendment roaster who donates to some of your favorite gun rights groups directly every time you purchase one of their partner roasts. And as it is now September, it is officially spooky season, which means pumpkin spice is back, baby! Now, I know a lot of y'all are too manly for the pumpkin spice, but your wives are not. I've actually had pumpkin spice in my cup every day this week, but I also buy it in bulk every fall. So anyway, to help support this channel and get a cup of coffee, tea, or hot chocolate that you can be proud of, go to blackoutcoffee.com/libertydoll. Okay, so what do we know so far? We know that the would-be assassin had an AK-47 or an SKS, depending on the news outlet, with a scope on it, and took cover by a chain-link fence between 300 and 500 yards from Trump as he teed off on hole 5 around 1:30, 2 p.m. on Sunday at his West Palm Beach golf course. The suspect is 58-year-old Ryan Ruth, a resident of Hawaii, is a reliable Democrat donor and voter, having donated to the party 19 times since 2019. He also had a GoPro with him, which officials say was to record the shooting. Secret Service opened fire on him when he put his gun through the fence to shoot Trump. He was able to flee the scene, but was spotted by a witness getting into a black Nissan who got a photo of Ruth in the car. He was arrested about 15 minutes later by local police on I-95. According to his now suspended X account, he claimed to have supported Trump in 2016, but then decided that Trump was, quote, retarded. He was previously a record of North Carolina and was able to rack up more than a dozen criminal charges there in 2001 and 2002. Among these were charges for carrying a concealed weapon, ID fraud, a hit and run, and an April 2002 felony for possessing a weapon of mass destruction. In this incident, he was stopped by the police for a suspended license, opened a bag with a gun to threaten the cop, then took off and barricaded himself inside a business with a machine gun, which obviously resulted in a standoff. Later, he also faced a bunch of charges on everything from writing bad checks to possession of a controlled substance and a stolen vehicle. Most of those lesser charges were eventually either dropped or he was given probation. He apparently was also a big fan of Ukraine and hoofed it over there to help with the war efforts, and then was rejected by volunteers. He also self-published a book last year calling for Iran to assassinate Trump, and supposedly ran a bunch of nonprofits and did all of these reach-out things to help different communities. He claims it turns out that none of that was really much of a reality. We also know that despite the first attempt barely 2 months ago, Trump's security detail was still lighter than Biden's, as he's not a sitting president, and the Secret Service people just keep telling everyone that. Because of this, the golf course was not surrounded, and Ruth was able to create what the Post is calling a sniper's nest on the perimeter. He left behind the gun, 2 backpacks at the scene, one of which had a ceramic tile inside, which I'm guessing he was planning to use as some sort of protection, and a bag of food. CNN is reporting that according to cell phone data, Ruth had been sitting there for almost 12 hours with 2 backpacks, a scoped rifle, food, and a GoPro, which means apparently no one searched the perimeter or secured the area before Trump showed up. Also, the New York Post reports that it is pretty easy to get a line of sight at Trump's golf course without the Secret Service interfering. Now, a former FBI assistant director is also questioning whether Ruth got lucky or had inside information that Trump would be playing that day. We may never know. And Ruth appeared in court on Monday, smiling in his shackles, and was charged with possessing a firearm despite having a prior felony conviction and having a firearm with its serial number removed. Obviously, he was a prohibited person and was not following the law. But, of course, as many on the left will tell it right now, gun control would have stopped this. Now, as you can imagine, Republicans are blaming Democrats, and Democrats are saying there is no room for violence in politics, but also it's Trump's fault for scaring everyone all the time, and he kind of made it happen and had it coming. And CNN is claiming that somehow Bruen should prevent Ruth from facing charges, and that he wouldn't be charged if the Supreme Court had its way on gun control, which is not accurate or how the law works. What I am waiting for, and maybe it's happened already, I don't know, I haven't been on social media much today, but what I am waiting for is the Democrats doubling down, saying that this was all staged because, lightning can't strike twice or something. I mean, that's what I'm waiting for. All these social media posts all the time that say Orange Man bad, Cheeto, oh, I wish he would die, blah, 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 calling him names, calling for violence, turning around and saying, oh, well, no one would actually do that, so it must be staged. I don't know. I don't go on Twitter much these days. I'm sure that it's there happening. Anyways, I will be following this story because unsurprised that we have 2 assassination attempts in about 2 months, but also it wasn't exactly on my bingo card. Hopefully there is not a lucky number 3. All right, folks, so that is it for this video. Like I said, I'm going to be following this and keep you updated on any big revelations as they come. You guys know the drill for all of the outgrown things, and as always, thanks for tuning in and happy shooting.